Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and my lovely NBs. We are here live in Lorain, Ohio, in the Persinct Arena, where we're going to see the Lorain Firestorm go head to head against the Alaska Arctics. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing, dude?
Doing great, doing great. A wonderful game sits before us here tonight. Second sports den of the season. First one was a little bit of a blowout. We're hoping to see Lorraine and Alaska put up a good one here tonight, though.
Yeah, for sure. Both of these teams are really like deep in it in the early goings of this season. Both of them are doing fairly well. Lorraine struggling a little bit though, being a bit inconsistent with with a good winning streak and then getting into a losing streak. But they did win their last game, and so did Alaska. So hopefully both of these teams are looking to go ahead and get things rolling.
Yeah, and Alaska, came into the season kind of a bit of an underdog, coming in a bit hotter than a lot of people were expecting, honestly. They uh, have put in the work and they're showing good strides thus far this season compared to the last couple. Obviously, Devin Duke's in his second year. Eyes on him, seeing how he develops. But they've picked up players in this last offseason that have kind of having an opportunity to step up and stand out. Shaywan coming in from Plymouth, a free agent acquisition now. I don't know if he's starting here tonight. Like I said, they're still trying to figure out their roster, I feel like, because they have a bunch of good depth players, but they're trying to establish themselves going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And we also got to look into Tyler Conley as well, who has came into Alaska a couple of years ago, being able to really kind of assert himself as one of the leaders of the team, along with Rafishu as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, looking over to Lorraine, that pretty much brought their entire core together intact. But it seems like a lot of people are starting to figure them out now, ever since their magical run last year.
Yeah, they honestly last year that makes a lot of sense why they went ahead and brought almost everyone back. That after last year's success, you can't argue with them. It's taken them a while to really get going, and it seemed like you don't want to break what has worked for you. You've worked so hard to get to where you were last year. Don't risk it by trying to rock the boat suddenly. And, you know, it's the veteran presence that brought them there. Obviously, Pura, uh, big asset that they signed from Bangor a couple years ago. But they have Edwin Grieg, a long-term veteran. Nika Tampo, younger star that's developed in this league. Terry Kendricks, they managed to re-sign despite being going into renegotiation this offseason. Uh, Teresa, also a very young player, keeping an eye on her and how she's going to develop over the coming years. And then, Bethany Smith, second run in the FBA, very experienced player coming off the bench, able to help kind of settle the team when they start getting in trouble.
Yeah, it's something that it's going to keep in mind, and also with the fact that they do have a young big fur core with Curtis McCarthy and Zhao Xing also coming in from from this year's draft. So it's going to be interesting how these players go ahead and try and melt together and really go above and beyond in this game. So we'll see how things go as we see both teams go on into the court. So yeah, both teams are really gonna go ahead and get things started as we get the tip off, and the Firestorm are the ones to start things up as Coyote gets the rock for the Firestorm.
Yeah, Lorraine, like I said, last year was, I don't want to say a surprise, but definitely came in almost out of nowhere. They almost like dominated the East and just fell a little short in the end.
Yeah, and right now not a great opening possession there as they did miss the lay in the paint as now Alaska does get the quick rebound. Alaska really trying to find their kind of footing as they did come up with a pretty hot start, wanting to go ahead and continue that momentum after being in a little bit of a skid earlier in the season, as they are not able to get it down as Qatar does get his own board and does get the score, so they'll be up on the board first.
Yeah, quick basket for Alaska getting started here. Like I said, they kind of came in very hot. And I think they took teams by surprise, and a foul there from Duke's gonna reset the game clock to 14 seconds.
Yeah, resetting the game clock for the fresh 14, so Lorraine can have a little bit of some more time to go ahead and draw up a play and possibly go ahead and take a lead maybe if they shoot a 3. But instead, it looks like they're going to go drain into the paint, go for the quick finger roll, and it's going to be good. So Kyoto getting Lorraine on the board to tie things up as we pass the first minute of the first quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, Lorraine definitely in the slightly upper half of three-point percentage in the league, and obviously with Griga being a stretch 4. Oh, a big block there from Lorraine. Speaking of, and diving for the ball, it will stay with Lorraine. Looks like stepped out of bounds while trying to corral it.
Yeah, so it will be Lorraine's ball. A quick turnover there from Alaska. That's not something you want to see, even in this environment. While Lorraine hasn't really kind of mixed in, I know that the Firestorm fans are really excited to see this team blossom as the season goes on.
And ooh, another foul. That's 2 for Alaska already.
Yeah, this time it's Adriano with the first personal of the game. So now we're going to see, I believe, Grega taking the shot. And he will make the first
No,
one.
that's Pura.
Oh, Pura? My bad. But yeah, Pura will go ahead and get the first shot. We'll see if he can make the second one. And Pura will get both down. So Lorraine with the lead, up by 2 with about 2 minutes in. So very low scoring start here in the opening couple of minutes.
It's only been 2 minutes, Marcus. You know, this can't be the all-star game where they put up 140 points every time.
I mean, sometimes it feels like that every time when we witness these games, man.
Well, okay, we'll wait for the next ones. You know, we'll get a higher scoring team. I feel like both of these are more defensive. As Conley forced to take a long 3 with the shot clock against him and not able to convert.
Yeah, you are correct about that. Both of these teams are more defensive heavy. For the sound of it, really more of a ground and pound grind. So it's an interesting matchup to see these two go at it with them. But Lorraine starting to edge a little bit ahead here with another basket within the paint. So right now that is seeming to be a little bit of a problem here with that going to grind mindset.
Yeah, speaking of Lorraine, you know, top 3 in defense so far to start this season in terms of points allowed. And you know, that also comes down to their play style and offenses. You know, they don't necessarily rush the shot clock. They're going to let the play develop, and that just strangles their opponents, you know, especially once they get a lead. It's very hard to come back when your opponent is not willing to play at the tempo you need.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the way they've playing that strength of slowing down the game quite often, but Chaoswan's able to get that second free throw in, so they do cut the deficit down only to 2. So we still got plenty of game left as these two are really trying to figure themselves out as the game continues.
And Shawan obviously coming in from Plymouth. Ooh, Pura gets an easy layup off the pick and pop.
Yeah, a little bit too relaxed there on the defensive end for Alaska. Pura really taking advantage with her speed. You'd be surprised how fast she really is because she doesn't really show it that often.
Well, considering how much she loves to show off her slugs, the fact that, you know, she's a speed demon is a little paradoxical. But you know what? Again, she's been such a big factor in the Bangor run to their championship that Lorraine picking her up in the twilight of her career makes perfect sense, and she's giving the Firestorm a real opportunity at the end of her career to give her a second ring.
Yeah, and that's going to be that's really showing quite well here, as now the Lorraine found themselves up by 6 with some great drives ahead, and Chaoswan able to clean things up after the initial miss on Alaska's end. So that does cut down the scoring drive of Lorraine, but they do need a stop here if they want to actually feel a little bit more confident into closing down that gap.
Well, and that's good second chance opportunities there. And now Alaska just needs to clamp down on defense. And, you know, Conley is who they want to look for there. He's moved over to the small forward position on this Alaska roster. And, you know, he's being forced to match up against Nika Tampo here tonight. And, you know, she's a very young player who landed a pretty good contract with Lorraine for the next 3 years. So she's kind of becoming a focal point of them. Obviously, Edwin and Coyote. Sorry, Tampa was last year's acquisition. It was Coyote was this last offseason, signed a 4-year contract. You know, Lorraine has locked up their starting lineup pretty much for the next 2 seasons at least here.
Yeah, and a lot of movement from the last position. Not going to get things down. We'll see if Alaska try to take advantage of it, but it's not going to go down there. Dukes with the miss. But now we're seeing Lorraine going on the attack. Quach pulling it back a little bit, trying to let things slow down. Knowing the pace that Lorraine likes to play with, and Pura is able to go check away from the defender, try to lay it up, but too many paws in the air, and she's not able to get that one down. And Conley going for the and one opportunity after getting fouled by Tompo.
Yeah, Nika instantly, you know, held up her paw and called it on herself almost as the whistle blew, because it was very obvious she fouled there. The 2020 draftee, picked 9th overall by Lorraine. Like I said, under contract for another 3 seasons. With that, Alaska takes the first lead of the game for them, I believe. Actually, no, they made the first basket, but Lorraine did take that lead pretty quickly after.
Yeah, so we're just about the halfway mark as Alaska is only up by 1, 11-10. Another miss there by Lorraine. We'll see if Alaska goes ahead and starts getting into rhythm as this game goes on.
Yeah, and you have to hope Rav starts pushing the 3 line. You know, they've really attacked in the post, but there we go. Another one down low. But Rav can stretch the floor, but I think right now they're trying to establish, you know, who can do that. And, with this lineup they currently are running, you know, he's the only 3-point shooter really out there. So a lot of pressure gets put on him on the perimeter, unlike Lorraine, who has multiple 3-point shooters on the floor right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing here, as Lorraine not able to get another basket in the paint. Really good defensive presence there for Alaska. But yeah, that's going to be the big thing, is the fact that they really don't have anybody to help spread the ball around to make those 3-pointers on Alaska's end. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for Rav to be able to find those open looks that are needed if there isn't anyone else that can do the same thing, as Quach lays it up, not going to get it down. Conley with the rebound. But now Qatar has the rock. We'll see if Rav decides to show off that 3-point swagger that he has, but he is going to be able to draw the foul against Kendricks for that reach in. So the ball will still be in Alaska's end. It will not be 2 shots with this call.
But we will get to see the bench start to come out, though.
Yeah, both teams really going to go ahead and get their second unit out there. We'll see how Alaska goes ahead and bring in with the second unit. It's Jordan getting the nice screen, trying to see if he can get into the paint, and he goes for a tough basket, but Milani's able to try to get it up, but it's not going to try to get the cleanup down. But Quach still on the floor for Lorraine. Goes ahead and puts it to the mid-ranger, but tips her into her miss, and she kind of devs it down to just 1.
Yeah, and Patterson's another one of those actually stretch furs that we might see situationally get brought in. Was traded for from Baltimore, I believe, last offseason. It's the miss there, go to the line for 2.
Yeah, and Xiao Xing with his first personal of the game coming off the bench. Xiao Xing is a pretty interesting player coming in. I believe he came in late in the
traded.
first round. Oh, was traded.
Yes, Szechuan was his 3rd team, actually, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, drafted by Arizona, didn't even play a full season there. Was traded to Plymouth. Plymouth played him from January for a year. Sorry, not traded for, signed in the offseason, my bad. He was traded to Plymouth in his rookie year, finished out his year in Plymouth, went to free agency this last offseason. Alaska signed him for a 4-year deal. Quick play from Lorraine there, back within 1.
Yeah, Alaska's doing a pretty good job trying to stay honest with Lorraine, making sure to really kind of test them under the waters, because This game is a slow-paced game, and really, Valeria going for three, and it's gonna go down, and looking like Alaska's opening things up on the perimeter, and that could get really dangerous really fast if Lorraine's not able to contain that as this game goes on.
Yeah, and right there, you're seeing see some of that three-point shooting that's on the bench that, Rav might be missing a bit of with him helping in the starting lineup. But, I think Alaska they're still trying to settle on what play style they're going to go with. Is a jump
Durant,
ball?
yep, jump ball's gonna be happening. And we see a little bit of a shove there.
Well, you see,
Durant.
Durant was not happy. 1.1 seconds. Even if she gets the ball back, there's no way Lorraine's going to get a shot off.
Unless they like tip it over, and nope, Alaska's gonna go ahead and get that one pretty easily. I was gonna say maybe you could tip it towards the basket and hope someone like tips it in last second, but that's a bit of a rarity to see. But Alaska going for the awkward pass there over to Patterson, but Patterson trying to lay it up, and it's not gonna be good. But Patterson gets his own miss, and it's no good once again. So a missed opportunity there for Alaska to go ahead and get a couple of buckets their way.
Yeah, I could have built up a little bit of a bigger lead.
Yeah, and Lorraine able to answer right back with Cthulhu's basket in the paint.
Zhao Jing was their draft. Sorry, I'm apologize if you were talking about Zhao Jing earlier. He
Yeah,
was.
it was.
Sorry, Zhao Jing and Shay Wan, very similar sounding name in the quick casting sense.
That's fair. It's understandable.
Zhao Jing was a 21st overall pick this last year.
Yes. But now looking over the field goal possessions, Lorraine really having a good advantage with the paint reliably, 50% so far in this game. And right now, you do see the crowd yelling defense as Jordan trying to lay it up with two defenders, but it's not going to go down. Too many paws in the air as Smith goes for a mid-ranger, and that's going to be good. And like that, we're tied up 20 apiece.
Back to a tied game already.
Yeah, both of these teams are not going down without a fight, and it looks like Alaska wants to go ahead and answer back with the paint, but instead, we're seeing them go over to Maloney, and goes over to Foley and Valerio. Go for a quick spin move, going for the mid-ranger, and it is going to be good for two. So now we'll see how Lorraine responds in this possession as we get a nice little screen going. And it looks like Lorraine having to pull it back a little bit. A nice screen. Having to pass over to Smith. Smith for three. And it's good! Last second three-point shot. Giving Lorraine the lead there. Not often you see those 3 points from Lorraine, but it's so good when you get to see it, especially in the home field.
Yeah, and again, a veteran presence there with the shot clock against her, able to hit that three with the defense on her, and taking the lead back for Lorraine. But Alaska has a chance here. They're going to drive to the paint, getting around, but no, off the side.
Yeah, and Tavares gets the rebound. We'll see that Durand trying to extend that lead, and he's going to do just that as Durand does give Lorraine a 3-point lead with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. So we now see that Patterson trying to see if they can find something along the perimeter to get a three going. But right now, Foley, the rookie, continuing to try and drive into it, and it's not going to be good there as Lorraine is going to have the last possession. We'll see what they do with it if they can extend this lead as Durand goes for three, and no, it hits the side of the rim. So at the end of one, Lorraine's going to be up by three, 25-22.
Yeah, but so close already. Not even that big of a gap. At one point, it looked like Lorraine was going to build up a lead, but then Alaska came charging back in, and they did not slow down whatsoever.
No, they really didn't, and that's going to be something to look into as the game goes on. I mean, the crowd's really starting to get into it now as we got late into that first quarter, but Lorraine had a few three-pointers from Durand that helped out trying to keep up with Alaska. We'll see how that changes as Chachuan goes in for the quick dunk. Making sure the crowd stays quiet. As they're only down by 1. Here, but Duran is able to get fouled by Depara. So Duran will be going on the line for 2. I mean, she's been all over the place this coming off the bench.
Yeah, and I mean that you have to be to really earn time on this team. They have great depth last year, you know, and they're all working towards the same goal right now.
Yeah, that is completely true. And Jasmine being able to get both of those shots, giving the lead back up to 3 with those important baskets. And that's something you really want to show off coming off the bench, to be that spark plug that the team needs to go ahead and really make a statement here, as Delgado hands over to Chaparra, and Chaparra gets a 3, tie things up 27 apiece. Yeah, right now both sides really kind of going tit for tat here as we're tied once again. But now we see, I think that was Duran once again laying it up and in. So now we see Alaska. And over to Delgado. And Delgado trying to get into the paint. Passes over to Chaewon, and Chaewon is not able to get it down this time. So they are going to be down by 2 still. We'll see if Duran tried to go and lay it up, but it's not going to be. It's going to be stolen there by Alaska, by Delgado.
Defense picking it up suddenly for both sides.
Yeah, and that's good, and that's pretty kind of been what we've talked about, is that both of these teams are very defensive heavy, and baskets are not going to come easy for either side, as we see a quick mid-ranger not going to be good there from, I believe it was Delgado. So Lorraine still doing a good job trying to keep that extension going. Now Duran. The clock winding down a little bit, trying to have to do something. Going for a long 3, and it's good. Duran doing everything right now. Coming off the bench, giving this a huge spark with the 3-pointers. And now Alaska's down by 5, and that's going to be something to look into, as the crowd is now fully invested. And we get a quick illegal screen there by Chaewon, so we're going on the other side. Costly turnover there for Alaska.
Yeah, and Lorraine starting to pick up the heat here with the 3s, and now pulling away. A chance here to add to it, and they make some subs, some starters coming back on the floor for both teams.
Yeah, now we see that Quach with the rock. I do believe that Duran's going to be sitting for a little bit after the amazing spark that she gave out in the early going to the second quarter. But now we have to see if that's going to continue with Quach on the ground this time. So right now I get a mid-ranger, and it's not going to be good this time, as Kendricks does get the rock. And now we see Tonpo bringing it down. Tonpo is trying to look for a quick leg, and she's able to go ahead and shake her defender, and she leaves it up and in. And now Lorraine has gotten a pretty good cushion as this second quarter goes on.
Shake your defender? She toppled her defender over, and no call on the play. I'm shocked that the ref didn't go either way with a charge or a blocking there. And Bruna will quiet them down with a 3 at the very least, but...
Yeah, much needed 3. I'm sure that Alaska's bench is probably fuming from that last possession on Lorraine. And we get a nice quick steal there for Chiapara. And now we'll see if the Alaska's try to cut this down even more so. As we get a quick mid-range, it's not going to be good. And Quach ends up with a rebound after a quick little fight. Davenport trying to lay it up between 2 defenders, and it's good.
Yeah, good spin move from her, dancing between everyone and just able to lay it up and in.
Yeah, right now Lorraine back up by 6, 36-30, as Delgado has the rock. Getting a nice screen. Looking for Conley along the perimeter. Get a quick pass over to Delgado. Delgado gets another screen. looking to try to get something into the paint and gets the shot over Davenport. So Alaska's able to cut the deficit back down to 4. And we get a quick, easily pass over to Kendricks, who goes for the quick, nice little easy dunk too. Thank you very much. Busting that coverage wide open. And we get to see another quick block there on the other end. And that is what you want to see if you're a Firestorm fan.
Yeah, Kendricks getting very animated there. The defense kind of just forgot about him in the post. He meandered his way, got an easy dunk, and now on the other end, blocked Dukes out of bounds. Obviously, Alaska will keep that possession, and they have a chance to still convert, but, their momentum has to be a bit shot there after watching the Giraffe just block Dukes like that right out of bounds.
Yeah, the Giraffe just really having his way on the court, and we get to see a quick layup, and it's good. Much needed basket there after that insane block coming from Kendricks. But now they got to get a stop on the defensive side, as we almost see the ball getting lost by Quach, as Davenport luckily picks it up very quickly. So that does shake things out a little bit on the plan, and we get a quick foul there on Adriano. And I believe that shot was missed, so they will go in the line for 2.
Yeah, Maria will have a chance to add to push Lorraine up to 40 here.
And Maria Davenport also doing some pretty good job within the paint, getting the drives that she needs, but she's not going to make the first one. We'll see if she has the opportunity to make the second. So Davenport does make 1 of 2. They're up by 5 now. And right now, both teams are actually doing pretty clean. Both of them are within single digits when it comes to free throws. But right now, Adriano ends up to Valerio and almost in the ball. We might get another jump ball situation, and we do.
Well, this time I think it's going to go against Alaska, honestly. Look at the height difference.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough, but it depends on when that ball lands, and we are going to see the ball is going to go over to Quach, and Quach gets blocked there. I don't know how she was able to get that ball from the big giant, but Dukes was able to get the quick block to try and clean that up.
Yeah, I mean, at least stopped them on the defensive end, and I mean, they're still going to have an opportunity to score here, which isn't great.
Yeah,
for the Alaska Arctics, Oh, but that's a great way. Tex just instantly stealing the ball off the inbound.
Yeah, Adriano being able to pick Quach's pockets in that one. So now we're seeing that Alaska can probably take advantage of that after a couple of mistakes here in that little stretch. Yeah, right now, Conley going for a quick spin move, trying to shoot up in the mid-range, and it's good. So now Perodorus Quach, she needs to be careful with the basketball. She has lost it a couple of times. So right now she's going to try to go for a drive, going for an underhook, but it's not going to be good. Now Alaska has a chance to possibly tie this up or cut it down to 1, and they will do just that with Valerio getting a nice dish in the paint to lay it up and in to cut it down to a 1-point lead. Now Pura loses the ball again, and Kyoto trying her darndest to keep that ball on the Lorraine's end. It's a very sloppy play there for Quach in the second quarter, but Lorraine able to go ahead and get something out of nothing, especially in that situation.
And almost lost a dangerous pass down low in the post, but Conley does come out on top with the ball, just misses the shot attempt though, and now Griga. Goose trying to attack the paint on the other end. Doesn't convert, but Kendricks can't clean it up, and Dukes is going to bring it down.
Yeah, now Alaska has a chance to go ahead and cut the deficit down again. They'll do it this time as Conley was wide open in the paint. Very good, fast break opportunity for the Arctics.
Yeah, Conley, coming from Vegas after his rookie deal, is really trying to set himself aside. Trying to, I guess, emulate another Husky in an Alaska jersey that you vaguely remember.
Yes, I remember him quite well. Still going strong in the league.
Well, and that actually brings up an interesting thing of your time back in Alaska. Alaska, not long after you retired, went to a very unique style of a three-guard setup for a little bit there. They had Cliff Matthews, Ambrose Slade, and then they obviously had Alessandro Serra, three great guards. And, instead of wasting one of them on the bench, they decided to go with a small ball setup, bringing all three on the court for a while. Is that something you think
Mhm.
maybe you could see Alaska experimenting with, given the current lineup they have again?
Uh, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, like, small ball games are small ball lineups are really very situational, in my opinion, especially with how much size there are within certain teams. I mean, you look at as we get another draw there, a foul from Foley. I mean, you look it over to Lorraine. Lorraine has plenty of bigs to really go and counter the small ball mindset, but it just depends on how quick and athletic a lot of these guards are for Alaska to be able to use here. But it has worked very well. They're still in this game.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just thinking back to, we talked about Rav at the current lineup they're running. Rav's the only three-point shooter, but then obviously they have uh, Bruno able to shoot the three. I mean,
Mhm.
he's a forward technically, so really not truly going small ball with him out on the floor. Uh, but Dustin Foley, Tex, they have a number of guards that they can be playing with. That's just like I remember of my early FBA commentating days, the Alaska going against the grain with their small ball play for the first couple years. And Teresa stepping out of bounds, turning the ball over.
Yeah, that's not something you really want to see from Teresa, as we do see the Arctics have an opportunity to go ahead and go for a one possession game if they're able to make this basket. And it is a pretty good sight to see. It just shows the different strategies a lot of these teams have to really kind of make some interesting magic happen. And we see Adriano trying to lay it up, and it's going to get blocked there. I mean, you can probably see the same thing with teams like Edmonton trying to go for more of a small ball look for their team. So there's certainly some teams out there that are willing to go that route if they can. But now, Coach Lee going to have to go for a tough three, and it's not going to go down there as Adriano gets the board. And now Foley waiting for his team to get set up. He does get the screen. Not much going for that one. Instead, pass it over to Guitard. Guitard trying to get open, but not able to get it down as Foley heads it over to Adriano. Adriano going for three, and it's going to go in and out, and we get a loose ball foul on Patterson. So it will be going to Lorraine regardless, but it's just going to be a little bit easier to go across the court with a lot of time left for Lorraine to execute their plan on offense. See a quick dish for Smith. Smith wide open for three, and it makes it look so easy. Right now, Lorraine is really finding those three-pointers a little more often than not. So Alaska has to find a way to go ahead and deny that, as Foley is able to go ahead and lay it up and in after a nice dish. So Foley, his first points of the game. Young rookie coming out in the middle of the first round of this year. But now we see a Lorraine trying to go ahead and answer right back into paint as Codville is able to lay it up and in to answer it back.
Yeah, and just like that, 8-point lead here, Alaska, with only a minute left to go in this quarter, is half. Are going to want to chip away at it, but a miss there in Lorraine. Opportunity for the first double-digit lead, and it's going to go to Tavares. Tavares will get us our first double-digit deficit here for either team.
Yeah, and Alaska needs to find a way to go ahead and get a good answer. Try to take their time with it, because Obviously, you don't want to go down double digits, but you don't want to go and make it hasty. As
Ooh,
they are able to get that mid-ranger, tough shot there, as they
extremely.
are going to cut that deficit down to 8.
Try by making it difficult for Dukes, almost fading away there, but able to get it back. But now Lorraine has
Oh,
in.
yeah,
Oh,
that mid-range was way too easy. The help was really non-existent there from Dukes. Don't know what was going on over there, as that easy basket was made. So we'll see if Alaska tries and get this back, but no, it's gonna get blocked there, and Kyoto picks it up. And that's gonna be the end of the first half. We are gonna see Lorraine go for the final shot of this half, as Smith gonna go for the mid-range, and it's not gonna be good. So at the end of quarter number 2, the Firestorm are up by 10, 54-44, as both teams are headed to the locker room.
and right there, the last possession by Alaska that got blocked. Tex was too focused, and that's young player. A little bit of tunnel vision, getting so focused on the basket itself. He completely missed that there was a wide open 3 on the perimeter because he was focused on being the one to make the shot. That's something as players are in this league longer, they have to be able to learn how to do, because unless you're a literal basketball genius and able to create open shots for yourself, you're going to have to find those opportunities when they're given to pass the ball to your open teammate.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the name of the game for a lot of as we go into these stats. Kyoto doing a really good job in the opening, 10 points, 4 for 5. Very efficient scoring from Kyoto, leading the fray for the starting lineup.
Yeah, but that you see they passed it to pretty much all around. Only one player with 10 points here, and we're gonna say that Lorraine at only 54 points, 52 points. Uh, that's not necessarily a high score, but that's also not too far behind their average so far this year. I mean, they usually put up 114 in a game, so they're about 5 points behind pace of their average game.
Yeah, and honestly, that's not really bad, especially going up against a defensive-minded team like Alaska, because both teams are very defensive-minded, mind you. That's something we got to keep in mind here as we look over to the Arctic side. As Valeria leading the fray with 10 points and 4 for 6, and it's just being able to pick and choose the best baskets out there for your players.
And we saw obviously Bruno from Beyond the Arc getting it done. And like I said, they need to pick it up a little bit in terms of Alaska, in my opinion, just needs better efficiency. They're a little bit
Mm,
sloppier with their shot selection. Um, as you saw, Tex getting blocked despite having a wide open player available. And that's because the defense came over to help. Lorraine's defense is good, and they're going to cheat over and try and shut you down. And you have to find who they leave open because of that.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big case here, as Alaska is going to start the second half with the ball. And right now, Alaska's going to do whatever they can to pretty much put the momentum back on their end, because this is also a momentum situation too, as Qatar does get his own miss. Qatar is going to draw the foul, and one. So Kyoto able to go ahead and start things off on the right paw for Alaska, as he does get the free throw.
Yeah, I mean, able to catch his own miss and draw a foul on the putback is a great opportunity. Obviously, preferred to have made the first basket, but I think Brad will be happy coming away with an and one. And the defense not able to get over in time to help there, and answer back already by Trissa.
Yeah, so now Lorraine up by 9 once again, but so far, I think Alaska really wants to go ahead and punch him in the mouth. And Dukes able to draw the foul against Kendricks, as he goes on the line for one more, possibly. And that's something you really want to see, is like, if you want to go ahead and catch up, a great way to do it is to be able to draw some contact.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna whittle away this lead, that's one way to do it. Obviously, I'm gonna go ahead and jinx it now. Alaska needs to make the free throw in order to do so.
I mean, it's fair to say they have missed the only free throw shot so far. We'll see if that's going to be the case here as Dukes goes ahead and go for this shot. And look at that.
Caster Curse lives on.
Let's go. Look at that. Look at us. Kendrick's able to take advantage of it as well as he's able to lay it up and in. So now Alaska is going to have to try and find a way to continue this offensive game, but it's the defense that really needs to go ahead and get going. And we get to see a wild pass just not going the way of Alaska at all, as it ends up being in Kendrick's hooves. Excuse me.
Don't tell me you've been at the buffet already, Marcus.
Oh, you know, I'm a little burpy. It happens.
Foul there by Tex. That's his third. I'm not gonna say foul trouble. He's in the third quarter now. It's not the worst time to pick up a third foul, but if he was to click a fourth in the next couple minutes, we might actually see him sat. But again, they have players that can. Dustin Foley could come in and take over for Tex, but you don't want to see fouls starting to slip in, especially when you're down by double digits here.
Yeah, once again, down by 11 after the 2 free throws from Grega. Now, Alaska does need to go ahead and try and slow things down a little bit as Dukes trying to go tit for tat, going for a mid-range, and it's good. So a good shot against Kendricks with his 4th point of the game. We do need to see someone try to wake up a little bit for this team, and it could be Dukes needing to step up. Trying to get a nice screen there as we get a good 3.
No, 2. They're going to say pause on the
2.
line. So close to being a 3, though.
There. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess it was by a claw, I would assume, because it literally looked like a 3 from this angle. But now that Qatar hands over to Conley. Conley going for a long 2, and it's not going to go down this time. As Griga does get the board for Lorraine. Griga, the heart and soul of the Firestorm, with the rod. Then hands it over to Quach. Quach trying to use her speed here. Not able to get it down, though. It hits the backboard. And right now, Quach struggling so far offensively. And Alaska's going to take advantage with the basket of their own. So we're seeing the pace pick up a little bit in the third quarter as both teams really trying to drive into the paint as much as possible, as we see right there with a quick layup by Kyoto with 16 points so far in this game.
Yeah, and Alaska, I mean, they're keeping in step, but in a marathon, it only takes being a little bit behind pace to end up minutes behind. And right now they need to pick it up here just a little bit, or they need to shut down. They need to trip up Lorraine if they want to catch up. And, Rav going for a mid-range with the shot clock starting to wind down. He tried to pump fake a few times, but really was not getting any bites from the defense.
Yeah, Kyoto trying to drive it up and gets fouled by Qatar pretty hard there.
Well, not just that, but I think she threw the ball at Edwin after getting fouled. I don't think she meant to do that.
I mean, yeah, it's just like when you're in a situation like that, you kind of lose all wherewithal of where the ball's gonna go, and it could possibly hit a teammate. So
I mean, coaches say, if you feel contact, just chuck the ball towards the basket and hope the ref calls it a shooting foul, even if you were no way near them. Ooh, Bruno elevating to dunk it down.
Yeah, Valerio being able to go ahead and get that quick dunk, and now the Alaska's only down by 11, but they gonna need a lot more effort on defense to possibly go ahead and make this into a more of a streak here. So Grega finding a way into the paint, being able to get passed by both defenders, laying it up and in.
That's just the thing. Lorraine has had better opportunities. They've had less shots, but that's because they're able to make the ones they're getting, and stretching it from beyond the arc too. Alaska, struggling to get as efficient. They're not that far off from one each other though, but it's adding up slowly as Dukes with the shot clock again against Alaska, leaving them poor shot opportunities.
Yeah, you have to give credit is due with Lorraine's defense. It has been on fire, really, throughout this entire game. They have not let up against this Arctics team. And you got to think Kyoto being able to go ahead and get those quick baskets as well to help extend it. And right now, Quad's trying to extend that lead herself, but it's not going to go down this time, and it misses the mid-range.
And here's where pace is going to matter, because Lorraine, if they can keep burning the shot clock down, this 13-point lead is going to be very hard for Alaska to come back. But that's one way, and that's to draw contact, get to the free throw line, get easy baskets from there. Start putting the pressure on them. Obviously, that's only the second foul for Teresa, but you can start to throw her off.
Yeah, and that's something that really has to be going to, because the more fouls you're able to draw against certain players in the opposing team, that player is going to be very hesitant when it comes to defending. And they got to be a little bit more mindful of how they have to play so they don't get another call and possibly get ejected for the game entirely. Or at least get fouled out of the game. So right now we see Grega wanting to go for a tough shot in the mid-range, but it's not going to be good there as Valerio does get the rock. And we'll see if Alaska can cut this down to single digits. As Chiapara gets a screen. Has a bit of an open lane, but gets blocked right then and there as Kendrick saves it. But he is on the ground, so we get a jump ball situation. But you got to give this to Kendrick considering how tall he is.
A little bit, and they're going to move it to the half court. Yeah, it's not even a competition. I don't even think he needed to really jump there.
Yeah,
he probably could have used his head to knock the ball in the right direction.
Exactly. It's just not going to be a thing as Durand. We said her name quite often in the first half, and we're going to continue calling it as she's able to make that quick basket. So right now, Alaska having a struggle here, but almost another turnover there, but I think it was Valerio able to go ahead and give up the stripped ball and go for a quick basket. And as we saw, the percentage is up there for Alaska in this third quarter. It's just Lorraine being able to have more opportunities, really, to keep that game going ahead, as Kendricks not giving it down, but he does get his own rebound and lays it up, and it's not going to be good this time as Mullany gets the rebound.
I don't think that ball... I think that ball touched every bit of the rim there for Kendricks and still missed.
And now Kendrick gets another opportunity, but gets stripped by Mullany, and we're back at it once again. This time Jordan trying to lay it up, but gets fouled on his way up by Edwin. As Edwin tries to go for a quick block, but once again, we will see Alaska go on the line for two. And so right now we're in a very interesting situation as they are down by 11. We'll see if they cut this deficit down to single digits with these baskets. The first one is going to be good. I see a big change up on Alaska's end, and I would assume they'd be for Lorraine as well. And the second one will be going down. So Alaska does cut it down to single digits, but they're going to have to do a little bit more to soften this cushion a little bit. Yeah, right now, Duran has a bit of a lane, goes for the mid-ranger. It's not going to go down this time as Patterson gets the rebound. So now Foley hands it over to Jordan. Jordan backs it up a bit. Jordan be able to get by Durand, but right now, great defense there for Lorraine as Davenport's able to go ahead and get that rebound after the miss. Some great defense there from the guards as well in the paint, going tit for tat, and it's not going to be able to extend the lead there as Alaska once again has a chance to cut it down to at least 7. As right now,
they have to converge the point, though. They have to actually, make this basket or at least clean up, and then, and they're getting some good stops now on defense, but now they got to finish on the other end, and the shot clock, once again, their enemy not able to convert.
Yeah, another missed opportunity there for Alaska, because Alaska's doing decent chance of defense, except for that play, as I was saying it. Lorraine bringing it back up to 11, and Lorraine doing all kinds of damage here as they have all the momentum going in on their end, but now Foley gets it over to Chiapara, who hands over to Valerio. Lots of passing here for Alaska as Chiapara going for 3, and it rattles home. What a tough shot there as he's able to bring it down, and now they're able to cut it down to 8. Now Durant, she's looking to go into the paint, and she goes ahead and go for a tough finger roll, and it's not going to go down this time.
More opportunities for Alaska here. He's got to, I want to see them aggressive in the shot clock. Don't let it get down to under 5. And that's exactly it with Jordan, not able to convert though.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is the darn if you do, darn if you don't, because being able to find those openings is already tough enough, but to try and rush it is going to be making it much more difficult, especially with the fact that they might have to play a little bit with more urgency as we're getting to the closing minutes of the third quarter, and they are down by double digits. We still got 14 minutes left of this game, as we do get a first timeout for the Arctics, which honestly I'm surprised that this is the first time we're going to get a timeout. They have just been playing non-stop this entire game.
Yeah, and like I said, only 2 minutes left to go in this third quarter, and Alaska, they're holding on within 10, but they have had a couple opportunities here to really get it back to within reach, and they just haven't been able to latch on to those opportunities.
Yeah, for sure, and that's kind of been the Achilles for Alaska, because they've had opportunities. It's just that Lorraine's defense has been really, really good. More often than not, they've been able to go ahead and put them in tough situations like this one with only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. They have to do something with it, going for a tough 3, and it goes in and out. And great boxing, great to be able to get the board easy, and that's just kind of been the story, as Quatilly has been able to get the quick dunk, and now Lorraine's crowd is just fully invested, making sure that this is not going to go any easier for the Arctics.
Well, when you see your rookie Zhao Jing absolutely slam it down, you have to be... Oh, and a block!
Oh!
Both ends of the court now.
Yeah, and now Lorraine seeing Durant laying it up and in.
And I think the Arctics, the glacier finally cracked, and it might be on the slide down the hill. If they can't put a stop to Lorraine here, the Fire might have come out on top on this Fire versus Ice matchup. If they can't stop this bleeding quickly, and Delgado is going to get it off the glass at least.
Yeah, Delgado, a much-needed basket there for the Arctics, and it just seems like Firestorm has all the momentum. They need to get a stop here if they want things to go back on their side. And Alaska doing a really good job trying to drain down that clock, just like Lorraine has been doing, because remember, Alaska has a pretty good defense too, and Grega gets blocked there as Adriano is able to go sneak behind him. They got to get a basket here. Delgado lays it up, and it's no good. Cotto with the rebound, heading over to Grega. Grega is getting defended very well by Patterson, as Patterson gets the rebound after the miss. And so now Foley trying to use his speed to go ahead and get this basket, but it's not going to go down as Duran gets the rebound. Grega looking to get the final shot, and it's no good. Grega one more chance, and he does get it at the end of the third quarter.
And just like that, 14 points. It's been a death by 1,000 paper cuts at this point. I don't think Alaska's outscored Lorraine in a quarter yet. It's been Lorraine ahead by 2 or 3 points each quarter, and it's adding up. With 1 quarter left to go, Marcus, I'm not sure if Alaska's shown me enough that they can come back.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to see that was definitely a confidence killer there after that final shot from Grega, being able to get that second chance opportunity, showing how tough that Goose is. But now it's really up to Alaska to try and gritted out these last final 12 minutes, as we are going to get into the final quarter here as Adriano lays it up, and it's not going to be good there as Quash gets the rebound. They got to be able to be more careful with that ball.
And I think Alaska Mania start attacking from beyond the arc a little bit more. Let Rav and Bruno kind of start just chucking it. Get some plays design, and that's a great opportunity. There's Rav wide open off of the handoff. Inside the paint for sure, but easy basket. That's a great look there for him.
Hey, even if it is, I mean, trying to utilize that, the longer part of the mid-range there, as Tonpo is able to go ahead and lay it up and in, as she's able to be open pretty easily. And that's another thing, is just that Lorraine has been able to expose more and more of the cracks in the defense of the Arctics. And the Arctics need to find a way to patch things up very quickly, or things get out of the hand very quickly. As Rav gets a nice dish over to go for the alley-oop dunk for Che Huan. As Che Huan gets the 10th point. So now, but Alaska able to go ahead and get that defensive stop there with a nice block. And now Adriano laying up and in, and just like that, Alaska picking up the pace a little bit to go ahead and really put the Firestorm on skates. But now Pura trying to use speed of her own, but gets double teamed, but it doesn't matter as she's able to lay it up and in.
Alaska back, could get it back to single digits if at 3, but no, they want to attack in the paint. They want to keep being aggressive down low, and I appreciate the not running out the shot clock, but they're having trouble transitioning back on defense as Zhao Jing laying it up and in again.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the big problem here, is even if they want to go ahead and play a style of picking up the pace, that's not really their style, because the transition defense has not been there for Alaska. Qatar, though, getting the quick layup and in, as he's able to get that lane to cut the deficit back down to 12. But Alaska does need to stop here. Quach hands it up to Smith. Smith trying to get into the paint. And right now, we're seeing a quick pass over to Tonpo. Tonpo go for a quick, tough shot, and it rattles in and out. So great defense there for Alaska, trying to play into Lorraine's playbook of draining the clock down to the final seconds to make it much more difficult to go for the score.
There's Rav trying to fight into the paint. Ooh, double team, but now actually has a bigger defender on him. Needs a, great pass to Tyler.
Tyler Conley being able to go ahead and get the quick dunk there. Great pass there from Rob, and that's what you want to see from the Arctics, being able to have Lorraine kind of focus on one player to get other players open, and we get a nice steal there, and a steal back from Quach, and Adriana had no choice but to foul there to prevent this basket from happening. But yeah, we're seeing a very gritty game here between both of these sides, as Quach does miss the first shot. It just not has been her night, as she misses the first one, but she will make the second. So Lorraine once again up by 11, 87-76. So now Dukes going for a tough hook, but it's not going to go down this time, as Cattell gets the rebound. So Coyote, she's trying to get the drain, but loses the ball there from Conley. Great strip. As right now we get a quick dish from Qatar. Qatar trying to lay it up, but it's not going to be good. Great defense there from Tonpo. So now Tonpo hands it over to Quach. Quach trying to use her speed to get by her defender, but it's not going to be going down, as Adriana is able to pick up the rebound. And right now we're seeing Quach and Adriana kind of tying themselves up right across, but it's not going to matter there.
That was a great pump fake from Tex. Absolutely baited Pura into jumping. You just saw easy opportunity, and now, oh no! They left Zhao Jing wide open in transition. I was about to give them all the compliments of being back to single digits. but they let the Zebra Equipi hybrid absolutely slam it down.
Yeah, and right now Shao Sing really doing good on the glass as well. And so right now, Pura, who ends it over to Kyoto, they want to continue to extend this, as they could do this with this 3 right here, and it is going to be good by Quatch. So right now, Lorraine is just really putting it on tonight, as Alaska really struggling to try to find some kind of footing on defense to stop this from happening. But trying to get a quick dish over into the paint, but gets tipped away. Bad pass, and now Lorraine is trying to extend it even more so. Tompo gets blocked there.
Great block, saved the game. Even though Lorraine will keep the ball, 14 points here. They need to stop Lorraine. They can't let them keep scoring like this.
Yeah, it would have been nice to be able to get that ball before it went out of bounds, but nonetheless, we'll see what Lorraine's going to do with this possession with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Kyoto dances to Gendrith, hands it up to Tompo. Will Tompo just upchuck it here? No, she won't. She'll go ahead and go into the paint, and it's not going to go down. And Alaska does get the much-needed rebound there.
Yeah, Duke's able to pull it down, but no, ball stripped by Tompo. She couldn't get the bucket, but she got the turnover.
Yeah, and now Lorraine has, once again, another opportunity to go ahead and make a score. And if they do make this basket, it might be safe to say that the game could be over with just only 6 minutes left of the game. But you got to imagine that it's going to be very tough shot to make, and it's good. Kyoto with the 3.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was the perfect possession for Lorraine. They managed to kill all the shot clock and hit a 3-pointer. And, you know, that what was a reachable game may have just become unreachable here with 6 minutes left to go. As Zhao Jing gonna dunk it down, and Alaska has to call timeout. They have to. They're down by 19, right?
Yeah, they have to call it right here. They're almost down by 20, and they are going to call timeout with 5 minutes left, down about 20 points. The crowd is all the way in this game, and it's just a rough patch for the Arctics to go ahead and try and fill.
Well, and that's the thing. Less than 2 minutes ago, they were within 9, and now they're down by almost 19. It has just been that much of a run for Lorraine suddenly. And Alaska has not had a true answer for it. And I mean, I feel like they're going to give them one go here. You know, you don't give up with this much time left in the game, but you're not going to also try and kill your players this early in the season, risk injuries, trying to force something that's a low percentage. But I think they'll give themselves 3 minutes to try and get this back to single digits before we might see some bench players sneak onto the floor again.
Yeah, well, we are going to see some baskets over for Adriano, as Adriano does make both shots. So they're down by 17, but it's a tall order to ask for the Arctics to pull off. But we'll see if they do it here, if they're able to get a stop here on defense. But right now, Kyoto, who made that clutching 3, that could be the icer, as she continues her offensive prowess, as Teresa has 23 points in this game. So now Rav, trying to get the quick screen, will be able to go for the long 2, and that's going to be good. And so right now we are seeing the bench being a huge contributor for the Firestorm, as they're up by 10. As now Tompo trying to lay it up, and it is going to be good. Tompo with her 3rd basket of the night, and that breaks the century mark for Lorraine. And right now it's just looking like that this cushion is not going to go harder anytime soon. And we get a quick miss there as Kendrick gets the rebound. And yeah, I feel like that with Grega being able to pick it up and they're up by 21. I think it's kind of safe to say that this is probably going to be a win going over to the home team.
Yeah, Alaska an opportunity, fourth foul now for Jarissa, but an and one. I agree. I mean, honestly, they would need to hit like 2 quick threes to even be back in it. But we've seen bigger comebacks. It's kind of when does Alaska kind of admit defeat here?
Yeah, that is true. That it is a pretty big one. It's just kind of one of those things where it just seems like Lorraine has been able to find any sort of cracks within the Arctic so far. I mean, there has been some sloppy plays on the Lorraine's side, but it's just that Alaska has not been able to capitalize. We see a quick reach-in foul on Patterson. So it will still be Lorraine's ball. There will be no shooting opportunities for free throws. But right now, the Arctic's trying to get for another side, but we get a legal screen there on Tonpo.
Well, that's not what you want to start seeing, a quick turnover, speaking of.
Yeah, but maybe that could give Alaska a little bit more life. About to hit the 3-minute mark here, as they're down by a good margin, as they are down by 18. But right now, they need to score quickly here. They can't drain the clock like this, as Rav tries to lay it up, and it's not going to be good. And so with that, I think that Lorraine's is going to go ahead and cruise the clock down. I think they don't really need to go crazy with some of these baskets, but they're going to go ahead and continue to try and make some good shots anyway. It's not going to go down this time. As you can see, the urgency between both of these teams are so vastly different, as Alaska tries to make a shot as fast as possible, but meanwhile, for Lorraine, they're just chilling. They're just going to go ahead and continue on, making sure that they get as much of that shot clock down as possible before actually putting a basket, as Grega hands it up to Tombo. Tombo gets blocked there, as Patterson does get the rock right after. And so now Rav trying to lay it up, and it's not good.
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much is going to do it here over in Lorraine, as that missed basket is probably going to be what clinches this game.
Well, of course, keep saying it, Marcus. They're going to turn them. Oh, never mind. Oh, almost another turnover right back. But at this point, Lorraine can just hold the ball for the remaining possessions they have and burn the clock out.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, you have to go full court, which they're not doing, by the way.
They're that far, yeah. They're 16 points behind with 90 seconds to go. That's 6 possessions.
Yeah, there's not much they can do here, but I think that we may be calling it after that basket there. We do call the timeout. We're going to see a mass change up for both ends, and I think we're just going to go ahead and call this a night, pretty much, with just about a minute left and the score being 105-87. So you got to say that it was a very tight matchup. It's just that Lorraine was able to go ahead and take advantage of some of the mistakes that Alaska has made.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say Alaska made a lot of mistakes. I think Lorraine has just been so consistent this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they had a massive quarter where they just put up 40 points. And Alaska, they've kept in it. They were just a step behind, I think, every quarter. And a couple baskets, had they gone their way, I think we would still be in a very competitive game right now. It's just they didn't. And Lorraine has been a slightly bit more consistent.
Yeah, 100%. It's just kind of one of those things that we do see a quick shot there with Delgado drawing the foul. So Davenport will go on the line for a no-score three-point play. But yeah, it really just comes down to Lorraine. Lorraine's defense was stellar tonight. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If there's any game plan that you want to see of showing what a lockdown defensive team looks like, then this game is a prime example, especially with how well Lorraine has done. And it's a complete 180 from what we saw in our first Sports Den game between San Jose and Montana. It's just the fact that Montana was so high scoring within it, but with Lorraine, it's just how well they've been able to go ahead and drain their opponents, making them go for shots that are like with 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock. So after the end of this game, the Firestorm will get the win as the crowd is singing "If You're Happy and You Know It." That's a very entertaining.
Yeah,
Oh goodness.
and we're gonna dive into the stats a bit. And I mean, obviously, Rav stepped up there in the second half. Put up the majority of his points there. But I think we wanted to see a little bit more, um, help with carrying the load. 16 leading the team with 16 points is not that much. Bruno put up most of his points in that first half. Didn't really get a lot of
Mhm.
opportunities to contribute in the second.
Yeah, it just once again, it just the adjustments that Lorraine has made in the second half to go ahead and contain some of the players that were needed because Rav only had, I believe, 4 points in the first half.
Hmm.
So his offensive prowess really started to become into focus when they started to go ahead and calm Bruno down in the first half. So it's just being able to know how to make those adjustments. And even though Rav did make a good bit of noise in the second half, it was only mostly in the third quarter, I believe, and a little bit of the few minutes of the fourth quarter. But outside of that, he really wasn't that big of a factor in that game. As we go ahead and look over to the Firestorm stats, is Quach has 12 points, but really not efficient on her way up there. Not really the best thing you really want to see because, as I said, Firestorm has made some mistakes in this game that you would want to see them clean up. But a win is a win regardless, especially with the fact with Koyoto being able to be super efficient with 25 points, 10 of 12 when it comes to shooting.
Yeah, like I said, it was really off of her that she was able to. This team was able to take the lead. Obviously, Zhao Jing, the rookie,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely stepped up. We saw multiple dunks coming out, 4 total from him.
Yeah, and another great player coming off the bench is Doran. Doran, especially in the first half, did a very excellent job of uh, really making the much necessary baskets when she was on the second unit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I would say it was really the bench that stepped up, I think, for Lorraine, and we'll see that I think when we look at the stat comparison between the two teams. Um, again, Lorraine barely had the lead in the first quarter. Second quarter, they definitely had a bit more consistency, and just Alaska never had the edge at
mm-mm.
the end.
It just kept climbing up, and I think that one of the big things as well is just um, you gotta give credit due to the crowd. The crowd was electric in some of these moments too. It really kind of ruffled Alaska quite a bit in this game, and I gotta say that that was something that a lot of teams are gonna have to be careful of because while Lorraine hasn't had the best start that you want for the first 20 games of this season, they are a very dangerous team still. So really got to be careful, especially when they're at home.
Yeah, and I'm. We saw Lorraine, I think, had a bit of a dark horse run last year where people weren't expecting them until it was too late. And they might be coming in this year with a little bit more preparation for them, especially since the team remained pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I think Alaska is potentially having a little bit of that benefit than this year, where they started off really hot, and I think people weren't expecting them to start off so hot. And now people are trying to make adjustments to them, and it's going to require Alaska to continue to grow and develop as a team because a lot of these players are new or were brought in from other teams in this off season.
Yeah. It's being able to find that gel to make it work. And, every team's going to have to go through with it, especially if they have a massive overhaul within the last couple of years, like an Alaska team. So it's going to be something to look into for sure. I'm not going to be too surprised to see Alaska continue to go ahead and build up with this. And sometimes you kind of need games like this to humble yourself, make sure to go ahead and reset and possibly go ahead and make the necessary run that they need to. But in that case, I think that there's definitely a lot to learn from both of these sides, and it's one, don't underestimate the Firestorm and what they're able to do, and of course Alaska being able to, you know, try to use this as an opportunity to learn and try and make the necessary tweaks needed in order for them to continue to have their success and pick back up from where they left off when they started the season.
Yeah, and I mean, any final thoughts, Marcus? I guess before we head off for the night, I believe our next game will be Albany and Dakota.
Yes, it'll be Albany and Dakota, and I think it's in. Let me make sure I say this right before I get wrong, but I believe it's in Albany.
Is
I
that
believe it
Dakota?
is. Is that Dakota?
You're
See,
always
look at that.
whatever you think you're gonna say, you need to say the opposite of.
Of course. See, that's because you're the smart one out of the two of us. I'm not. I'm just a big bear that likes talking, okay?
Well, Marcus, it's been great. Thanks for having me once again, and I think we will see all of y'all next time. Next game is December 15th, by the way, the exact date. If you're looking for that, put it on your calendars.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be an exciting time, and we hope to see you guys pretty soon. So, you have a good night.
Have a good night.